Welcome back to another Trade Alts technical analysis, and in this video I'm going to be going over a few altcoins that caught my eye as I was scanning through the charts. And I also want to take a second to thank every single person who has watched my content, who's liked, subscribed, commented. I really appreciate all of you, everybody in Discord, Telegram, surpassing the 1,000 subscriber count today. I'm like just blown away. I've been at this for a little over a month now, so I'm very happy with that progress, obviously. And again, just want to thank every single person who has taken time to watch my videos. I appreciate it. And that being said, let's get to the charts. All right, so here we have AXS versus Bitcoin on the one-day time frame. I believe it's called Axie Infinity. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but anyway. So real quick, I just want to go over kind of, I've had these levels on my charts for a while now, and I must say very impressive, like very happy with the respect that these levels have got so far. So these are 3 different Fibonacci extensions that I pulled, which basically are like the important pivot points that you see here on this chart. So it's a collection of these different swing highs and swing lows. And anyway, I pulled 3 different Fibonacci pulls. I got a really nice zone of confluence up here that I highlighted. So you have your 2.618 for the first pull, for the second pull right here, and you can kind of see where I pulled it from. Let me try to highlight it. There you go. You see kind of the dots, right? So that's the second pull right there. The 3.618 sitting right here. And then off of this third pull, you can see where those dots line up. You have your 3-spot extension, and they are all basically really close to each other. So you got your Fibonacci confluence here with your R5 yearly pivot. So that's a big level. And what do you know? You have price, very big impulsive move up here. Just curious. I mean, just on that, 358%, 359%, incredible move. Right up into this big resistance that we've identified before this happened. Okay, so like I've had these levels on my charts, and this is the same way, by the way, like pulling when you have an asset that's in a blue sky breakout, it's been, you know, price action is in territory it's never been in before, right? So you don't have any support or resistances really that are built up in those regions for you to do technical analysis on, right? One way that you can identify potential areas of resistance in zones of for you know, an asset where the price hasn't even been in that region yet, right, is by using Fib extensions. So that's one tool that you can use. So Fibonacci extensions, I really like that. Pivots, I really like that because they, again, they help give you an idea of where, you know, where price could have a reaction once it gets there. And again, your yearly pivots were printed on January 1st. So we're here in March. Okay, so this R5 pivot became an R5 pivot on January 1st. So it's this level has been here since the beginning of the year. Okay, but again, really nice zone of confluence here. And what do you know? You get your price pushes right up here. You get 3 long wicks into this big resistance area before you get a nice pushback or you get a nice rejection. And so far you're sitting at almost 30% rejection from this zone. So going forward, this zone, you can mark it down, very big resistance. And you know, definitely an area of big resistance. And this area would need to be reclaimed for, you know, continuation higher. Obviously, if price does come back up to test it around, I guess is, you know, a bit over 10,570 sats, something like that. You know, the more times that price does test something, typically the weaker that resistance will become. But on the next pass, I would think that this area gets defended pretty heavily again. That was a really nice reaction off of here. So definitely a lot of sellers stepping in at this point, but you can't really argue. What a run. Again, 359% run in just a matter of a couple of weeks. So where is price going next? Okay, so that's what we're going to try to figure out here. I'm actually going to hide these Fib extension. I don't want to delete them. I'm going to hide them, and You know, do I want to take, yeah, I'm gonna hide my pivots, clean up the chart a little bit. So the first thing I want to do, I want to turn on Ichimoku. So right away I can see that price, price was at this point very far away from your Kijun, which is equilibrium. So that alone tells you to be careful. Once price gets this far away from where your Kijun is, there's a bit of a risk of having, a move to come back to it. Okay. And it's called, so again, when price is at your Kijun here, it's at equilibrium. So, when you have price that's way up here and then you have it come back, that's kind of like your mean reversion play, right? Now your Tenkan isn't really that far away from your Kijun, so this doesn't look like super unhealthy or anything, but price obviously was very far away from both of them. So having it come down here, not anything out of the ordinary. It's nothing that, all of a sudden this looks super bearish or anything. But as far as your next supports go, I would look at these two specific levels. So you have your daily Tenkan here, which is sitting right at, a little bit over 7,100 sats. Then you have your yellow Kijun here sitting at 6,263 sats, basically sitting right above this daily level. So I would say, if AXS does come down to test your yellow Kijun here, I would like that quite a bit for a bounce. Could be a nice trade, not financial advice, obviously, but it could be a nice, I would think it bounces at that point. Now, if I want to pull a fib, just to kind of see, again, this is the swing high to the swing low to the swing high here. Does anything line up? Well, you're literally sitting right on your 382 right now. Not much of a bounce at all. Nothing else is really lining up the way that I would, nothing else lines up, but I am going to mark this anyway because I always want to know where my golden pocket is. So this is your 618 and 66 golden pocket. So I want to see here. So another thing you can do too is pull another fib from this low. So this is like the very low to your high. See if anything lines up. It really lines up that well. I mean, your 382 is getting really close to where your Tenkan is. So again, I guess that does, that is a nice confluence here for a potential bounce on first pass at least. So the Tenkan could be a nice, it usually is a pretty nice area of support if tested. The Kijun's definitely really nice play. This is an area I'm always interested in for the most part. But not much else really lines up. You have another golden pocket that's sitting below here. But arguably, I actually like this pull better because this is where things got really impulsive. So I am more interested in this price action than I am even from here. Which some people, this is granted, this is a bigger swing. This is the real low to the real high. But again, I'm more interested in this price action simply because this is where the impulsive move was. So so again, you have your Tenkan, your Kijun sitting around in your daily. So I like that quite a bit. And then you have your golden pocket here. One other thing that I like to do is so I can pull a fixed range. And looking from this impulsive move, I kind of want to know where the point of control is in this entire from this move up. I'm kind of curious where that is. So again, you can start from your swing low, and I'm going to encompass all price actions since then just to see. And well, there you go. So here's a point of control that's sitting right in your golden pocket. So this, the golden pocket on its own it's always one of those places where I'm always interested where that is no matter what, but I like to see other confluences line up with it if possible, right? This is a really nice confluence, honestly, having your point of control sitting right basically in the middle of your golden pocket. So I like that quite a bit. So let's go down to a lower time frame, something like a 4 hour. Wow. Okay, well, so this is a bearish setup actually. So I'm going to delete this fib. We already know where this golden pocket is. That's kind of what I'm most interested in. So I'm going to delete this, clean up the chart a little bit. But this is actually a bearish setup. So this is, and I have covered this in previous videos. So I talk about edge-to-edge trades, right? Well, this is a bearish edge-to-edge trade. So you have your bearish TK cross right here. You have your Chiku span, this purple line below price. So here's your line and your line. So right here's your price where the line is underneath. Okay, so it's below price, and then price closed inside a cloud. So typically when you have your edge-to-edge trades, your target is the opposite end of the cloud. So you're looking somewhere along here, somewhere along, you know, potentially anywhere. I'll highlight it for you just so you can see it a little bit easier. You're looking for somewhere along here. Like this is essentially where your bearish target would be. So as soon as this confirms, which let's see, I'm curious which candle this confirmed. Yeah, so it didn't confirm until this candle. Wow, okay, so that's the thing, right? It didn't confirm until this candle right here. So as far as, you know, if you were to take this trade, so let me just give you an idea. So it didn't confirm until this kind of longer candle here, right? So let's say like this is your short entry, this is your target, let's say. I know it might be hard to see, so I'm going to try to zoom in for you. But you can see the risk reward on this trade is terrible. So I would not have taken this at all. And I mean, again, this is only a 4-hour setup, right? So like a lot of times you won't see, you know, you won't get like crazy moves or anything like that. But again, like, and your stop loss would be below or would be above cloud, right? So this would be where your stop loss would be for the edge to edge. Here's your entry and here's your target. And you can see it's not even a 1-to-1 risk reward. Like this is an awful trade, so I would not take it. But what it does is it helps give you an idea of where price could be though, if that makes sense, right? So this is where, so would I buy here? No, I would not buy here, not financial advice, because there is a decent probability, statistically speaking, when you have edge-to-edge trades, pretty decent that, you know, there's a decent probability that this will play out. So buying here, so okay, so shorting here, bad idea. Risk reward, terrible in my opinion. But buying here, also a terrible idea, because we will look for price to come here. So that's kind of one of the cool things about Ichimoku. It helps give you setups like this, where there's obviously people buying here right now that aren't aware of this taking place, but that's just kind of what happens, I guess. So first support zone, minor support zone, I would say, is down here, this green box around 6,900 sats, something like that. But again, this is a 4-hour time frame, nothing crazy. But I would, I would not be surprised to get a bounce off of here, and likely have some consolidation inside of cloud until price figures out what it's going to do. Now, if you get a 4-hour candle close below cloud and you lose the cloud, the thing is the cloud is still bullish. It's nowhere near turning bearish yet. So even if you got a close below here, that would be pretty bad. But you do have a support, so this daily support level, and also if you remember on the 1-day time frame, if we go back to that real quick, your daily Kijun sitting right here. So this is pretty major support, which for, you know, again, so going back to the 4-hour, your daily with your daily Kijun likely to be pretty big time support. So, you know, what I could envision happening, maybe you get a drop here, maybe you get a wick down, something like that, into your daily SR level and the daily Kijun, and then price, you know, I would expect for this zone really to hold up on first pass. So really big supports actually below cloud here. So you have your 4-hour cloud, and then right again around this daily level you have your daily Kijun and your daily SR level. That's pretty major support. And then even below that you have your golden pocket and your point of control of this entire move up. So you have pretty major support sitting in this general region. So this could be, you know, a nice opportunity to take a trade for sure. So that's AXS. You have your supports. I identified your supports below And then obviously your big major obvious resistance above, this is definitely a massive resistance. If this is reclaimed, obviously you're going to be another blue sky breakout, all-time highs, and we can try to identify another potential zone once that, obviously once price does that. So let's move on. So this is Balancer. Balancer BTC on, well, I'm on the 4-hour, but I actually want to kind of zoom out for a bit, see what's going on. So I'll tell you already, I like this quite a bit. This is bullish. So you have your bullish breakout here. You have your cloud is bullish. Price is above, outside of cloud, obviously, right? Everything looks pretty good. So your initial resistance is this daily level. Obviously, you can see daily levels created here, and then price has come back up to retest it several times. It hasn't been able to make it through yet. And again, just speaking edge-to-edge trades, right? I would identify, I would classify this as a pretty good edge-to-edge trade. So you got your edge-to-edge entry, made it to the other side. I'd say this is pretty well the other side of the cloud, right? Price was unable to continue. So what happened instead is it actually rejected back down to this monthly. It actually lost this monthly, but price came back down, and you see this kind of sideways movement until price exits cloud. So this happens a lot of times. So when you have the edge-to-edge trades, that's why you take profit on the opposite end of the cloud, because you can always re-enter a trade if price continues, right? If you get your bullish breakout, price continues higher, you can always get back in. But a lot of times with the edge-to-edge trades, you really want to look to take at least a bulk of your profits near the top of the Kumo, the cloud, because this what happens, what you see here, happens quite frequently, where you actually will get the move that you were looking for, and then price will reject and just kind of consolidate within cloud until it figures out what it's going to do. So that's, again, that will be definitely covered in the Ichimoku module that I'm doing right now. I'm actually on number 6, the 6th video in the trading bot series. That's been going incredibly well. People have been really happy about that. And so I'm trying to get that module done first, and then I'm going to jump right into Ichimoku. I've actually started to work on the course itself, but I'm not going to release it until it's done. But this, these setups will definitely be in there. So anyway, back to Balancer. This daily big resistance. If this is reclaimed, obviously you could look to, if you could look higher. And this is a quarterly level, which is pretty crazy. You don't see these too often in crypto. Balancer is a relatively new asset too, so this just happened to line up this way, but pretty major resistance sitting up here. So if price, if you do reclaim this daily at just under 11,000 sats, I would likely look to this zone right here, because I think obviously this is going to be big resistance, but I think that price will kind of migrate its way up here. And I'm curious if I turn on pivots. I just want to see if there's any pivots that line up. So your yearly pivot is actually sitting just below your quarterly level. What about like a monthly? Wow, so your R2 monthly is literally, I think that's just about where your yearly pivot is. So there's no pivots that line up right around here, but you can see, and it's a front run of this quarterly level around 14, let's just say 14,000 sats. There could be some resistance there just from your pivots. But again, Balancer BTC looks pretty good. It needs to clear this daily though, this daily level, and you have, you could have a really nice move to the upside. You're looking around 30 to 40%, something like that. And these are your levels. You clear weekly, then you would be looking up to this weekly up here. That's you obviously got to clear this first, but I like the way that this looks. Now to the downside. So again, you can see that this is pretty big resistance currently. It's looking like you could come back down and retest this, which likely is a decent opportunity, to be fair. The only thing is looking at this on a daily time frame though. So obviously your weekly, typically when you lose, if you were to lose this level if I turned Ichimoku off, that's the thing, right? So if I turned Ichimoku off, you know, I would typically look at this weekly level. If this weekly level is lost, then possibly your monthly, right? I'm going to do something else. Where would I pull this from? Let's do that. So here's your point of control of this range that we're currently in. So I'm going to like fully mark my levels out. So these are my range. So I'll look at that. So if I mark that, let's just remember this, okay? If I mark this, it's going to get kind of like, it's going to mess the chart up. But your monthly SR level here at 7,558 sats, that is your value area low as well. So this is a big time level right here, this monthly. So just remember that. But again, here's two more levels for you to look at. You have your value area low, your point of control, and then this monthly level. So right now, price is above the range, right? Which is bullish. That's a good thing. Now, if you lose this value area low, if you're just speaking in terms of trading the range, you know, if you lose your value area low here, then you typically look to your point of control. But we know there's a weekly here. So this is pretty, I would say this zone, right? Which is still pretty close to your value area low. Now, if you lose your value area low, I'm sorry, your point of control, misspoke there. If you lose your point of control, I would look to this monthly, but this monthly is a big level. So I would not financial advice, but I would be very interested if that were to come all the way down here. Now you pull your fibs, see if anything lines up. Lines up okay. 382 with your weekly here. Here's your golden pocket. So, you know, you could get a bounce here, but I don't see anything else that's really lining up. And let me turn on this. Well, it's the bottom. This is kind of the bottom of your cloud here. So I don't try not to muddy up the charts too much, but this is the bottom of your cloud, your daily cloud. So that's a bit of support there. But again, it's this monthly level that is really big support if it were to come down there. But so for now, you know, where price sits, is there a trade? No, I would say no. Not financial advice, but no. I would really want to see this daily level reclaimed for higher. This value area high here is your next kind of support zone. If this is lost, you know, you would come back down to this region. Weekly level, point of control. Now, taking a trade off of this weekly is, you could take a long off of this weekly because your invalidation is pretty close, right? So I'll show you this on a trade setup. So if you took a long position off of this weekly, your invalidation could be really low. So you're talking like 4%, you know, and it depends on, you know, where your profit, you know, where you would look to take profit. So first would be this daily, right? So this is kind of how I would set it up, not financial advice, just kind of showing this is just for educational purposes only. But again, if price were to come back down to this weekly, if you took a long here on this weekly, your invalidation would be it's really easy in my opinion, because it would be the point of control of this range. You do not want to see this level lost. This is a pretty big support level. So your invalidation, again, you know, you're risking 4% to gain 17% if you were to take profit at this daily, which I definitely would take. You know, if I got long here, one of my take profits would definitely be this daily. And, you know, I honestly, myself, will look to try to trade this up. I would try to trade this up. Something like that. So this could be a really nice long, position, because again, your invalidation, it's really this point of control. This is a really big level. If you lose this, your monthly SR level here with the range value area low, this is a very big support level. You lose that, then you're talking like you could have a pretty big drop if that happens. So again, this is very important level. But that's Balancer. So I kind of showed you, you know, a potential nice long trade that's kind of staring at us. If price cooperates and comes back down here, it gives you a really nice risk reward setup here, in my opinion. And then, you know, again, you lose your point of control here. This monthly is really big level. If you want to mark that on your charts, please do. This is definitely a place where I would have an alert set. And then again, if you reclaim this daily, then you're looking back up to, you know, this region up here, which is a nice 30 to 40% trade. You know, that's a nice 30-40% gain from above this daily. Really nice. And so that's Balancer. So let's go to the last one. So this is Solana. Blank chart. This is Solana versus Bitcoin. I'm just curious. I actually haven't charted the Bitcoin pairing, apparently, somehow. Let me go back here. I did chart this. What do I want to do? See, this video is kind of running really long. So maybe I won't chart every single level. Let me just see it. Just turn on Ichimoku. Wow. Well, okay. So I can tell you right now, you're coming close. You're coming real close to a big support level, which is your daily Kijun. So we haven't tested it yet. And we actually haven't tested it this entire run up. So this is a support level. And then you have this flat edge of your Kumo here. So typically when you have that happen, that's another support level that you would see. You know, if price managed to somehow make its way into cloud, I would think that there could be a nice potential move down to this level. Let me pull. Man, which one do you want to do? See if anything else lines up. I'm just curious. I always mark this off on my chart no matter what, no matter where it is. So that is your golden pocket. Just to kind of see where price is. Like I always want to know where my golden pocket is no matter what. It's basically sitting right at your 382 right now. No reaction. So it's been kind of sideways. But yeah, this daily, this level right here, daily Kijun, really important level. Going on to a 4. I'm just curious what's going on in the 4 hours. See, this is ugly. So this is bearish. So just to give you an idea, we haven't seen a whole ton of like bearish looking charts lately, but this is bearish. So you have price below cloud. You have a bearish TK cross, right? Your cloud is bearish. Like this is bearish across the board here. But you know, if anything, it looks like, you know, we're just really consolidating in this area. Like we're really consolidating. It's nothing like, you don't see a crazy move down or anything, but this is a bearish setup right here. I'm going to turn this off for a sec. Let me look at something. Pull it up from the top. Let's try this. And the reason I'm doing this, I want to find some areas of interest. Now, price is still, you know, I wouldn't really call this a range. I mean, I guess it's kind of, I mean, this is really like, this is still downtrending, you know. Now you are bottoming out here. So if anything like this, you know, I would say like this is a range for sure. Very tight range. Now I wouldn't say this is very tradable at all unless you're like scalping really, you know, high leverage or something like that. Not that I would recommend that, but it kind of does look like you're trying to form a bottom though, to be fair. Like it looks like you're trying to kind of bottom out here. But you are below, you know, as far as your value areas go for this price action, you're even below value area low. Now, if price reclaims value area low here, if you manage to get back above this level, it could be a very nice long position. Could be a nice long. And typically, again, when you get back above your value area low, you look to your point of control and your value area high. Those are kind of your targets. So that could be a nice long trade if price, or if it's able to reclaim back above value area low. So that's something that I would watch for. I'm just looking at that. But overall, on the daily time frame, okay, higher time frames always supersede lower time frames. So like, as far as I'm concerned, this is still bullish. On the 4 hour, it's not bullish, but on the daily, it's still bullish. You know, you still have your bullish setup here. And I really would look to this Kijun for a potential bounce if we do, if we do come down and test it. But you are coming right into your cloud here, so it wouldn't surprise me, if price kind of does make its way over here, I would look for this to provide a bounce. So I wouldn't be surprised to get a bounce off of here to try to reclaim this value area low. So that's something that I would pay attention to. And then as far as, again, if price makes its way over cloud and starts to, break into cloud, retest here, then it gets a little bit more questionable. Obviously, you're far, you're still pretty far away from having a bearish TK cross, but they are converging. So you see, that's one thing that I don't like, is this Tenkin right here has a negative slope. So you can see that your Tenkin and your Kijun are converging on each other. Really, like, things are just getting really tight around this area. So we're just going to have to see, we're going to have to see kind of what plays out over the next few days to, potentially a few weeks. Now, this is a little bit easier of a chart to read, in my opinion. So this is the Solana USDT chart. And I can tell you right now something that's concerning to me. And I've seen this, I wish I remembered which altcoin it was, but there was an altcoin that had a very similar setup to this, and you got your mean reversion. So I would have to, I wish I knew which one that was, but this looks awfully like it. Now, essentially, what you have going on here is you kind of have this. You kind of have this forming, right? So something you can see, right? For you pattern traders out there. Now, this can break either way. So symmetrical, this is like a symmetrical triangle. It's very full though, okay? And these, typically they break out in the, in the same direction. Statistically speaking, these have a higher tendency to break out with the overall trend, right? Which is obviously very bullish. But I don't know if that's going to be the case on this one, because so I'm going to delete this, okay? Just to like get it back to Ichimoku. But again, you kind of have that pattern formed, right? I lean on this actually coming back down to test this. I would not be surprised if Solana got to move back down to equilibrium, to your Kijun here. The divergence is what scares me. So you can see here, really beautiful. I mean, this is incredible. Really nice move up. So just from your Kijun retest here, all the way up to the top, you're looking at, over 600% move in the span of not very long. Okay, incredible move up. Now, delete that. You didn't test your Kijun since January 22nd, okay? Which, if you remember, well, that was February, never mind, scratch that. But you haven't tested your Kijun all the way, since back here. You look at the angulation, you look how close together your Tenkin and Kijun are. Really, really nice move. They're close together. This is what you want to see, right? Now, you see your Kijun flat, it's flattening out. Your Tenkin is far away from your yellow Kijun here. So this is not good. Typically like this. So you see the divergence, right? From your Tenkin and your Kijun, there's a lot of space between them. A lot of times when you see this happen, you can get a mean reversion, which means price will kind of be pulled towards this Kijun here to put price back into equilibrium, right? Because that's, when things are in equilibrium, things are happy, things are balanced. That's where, that's ideally where you want to see price. Now, you're obviously far away from it. And again, flat Kijun here, what this setup shows, when you have this divergence, it shows that your bullish momentum is essentially slowed or lost, right? So there's no more real bullish momentum here. Price is consolidating here. You're forming kind of that pennant that I was talking about, the symmetrical triangle. I mean, you're kind of forming that, you know, so price is just really starting to tightly consolidate here. So it's going to have to make its move one way or another. And just by looking at this, I would give the edge to actually for price to break down. So we can come back and, you know, in a few days and see what happens. But if I had to take a guess up or down here, I would lean down. However, if Solana does come down to, you know, test your Kijun, I would, in fact, I'm going to set an alert. Set an alert there, because if price does come back down to this Kijun, I would be very interested in taking a potential trade. Not financial advice, but I am going to set an alert for that. So anyway, and then obviously to the upside, you know, if price manages to get back above, you know, 1750, something like that, it's, you know, it's going to likely push higher, new all-time high, that sort of stuff. Like 1750 is kind of a 1720 actually is an area of interest for sure, you know, to the upside. Also 16, you know, I'd say 16 bucks is also going to be a resistance zone. But, you know, if you do get the push up to 16 bucks, you could have broken that symmetrical triangle, right? So maybe that kind of gives you an early inkling that price is likely to continue higher. But again, my gut tells me that I have this feeling Solana is going to come down and give me, you know, we're going to get this equilibrium push, or essentially your mean reversion play, right? So that's kind of what I am looking for on Solana. So anyway, kind of a long video, a lot of analysis. Hope you enjoyed it. Kind of went into things a little bit more in depth and detail than I usually do, but I do have the Ichimoku module coming up. So if you are, you know, watching the trading bots and you like that, or the trading bot module I've done, it's going to be that same, you know, way of explaining things, the same level of detail. So if you want to learn how to trade Ichimoku, or you're really interested, definitely pay attention to when those modules come out. So if you subscribe, click the little bell, it'll notify you when those come out. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Trade safe out there. Have a good night.